I'm not going to lie, man. Sometimes it does get a little burdensome. It's the cross I have to bear that for whatever reason, I understand how to rule the world. Like social engineering and psyops and how people are manipulatable and what rulers actually have to go through and how they do it.
I see as clear as day.
Most people don't. You know, you're given that for a reason. You know, the good news is there's got to be a reason I know this stuff. And I think it's because, you know, God granted me this insight. Social engineering is my aptitude doesn't begin to explain it. And meth being nice, I know it might sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm not. This is literally a burdensome gift. Do you know how few people understand how to rule the entire world through spells?
Slaps out with.
Spells. Are you sure you want to do this, Owen? You want to go to war with me?
From an undisclosed location, deep in an occupied zone, you are listening to Covert Radio.
How you guys doing? This is Covert Radio. And this is brutally honest, fearlessly unapologetic talk radio. Covert Radio is delivering the highest level of discerning insight into events, people, and the contrived lies of the demented tide. This is a landmark broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, this is a landmark broadcast. There's going to be no hot takes in this. There's going to be no... This is going to be pretty family friendly. I'm going to do everything I physically can to maintain. This is a long overdue broadcast. And I talked about the LLC show several times. There's many reasons you have not seen what you're about to see. There's always been a missing piece, and instinctively, I could not put my finger on it. I found it. And it shook me to my core. See, it may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, to some people, but if you've followed the trajectory of this and my investigation into the public figure Owen Benjamin, you're going to see what a big deal this is, because the reality is I don't even know what I'm going to call this. But I do have to say, I've been wrong. I've been wrong. And I'm going to explain that. The problem is, it's actually worse than what I thought. Without this piece of the puzzle that I'm going to show you in this epic Covert Radio broadcast, I could not figure out, other than misappropriation, fund misappropriation, I couldn't put my finger. on how Owen was able to make the moves he did concerning Ursa Manor. I'm going to give you so much information in this that it's going to make your head spin. This is the LLC show. This is the long-awaited. I considered putting it behind a paywall in the past. I considered having other people come on. But we're at a point now where the ramifications of this not being brought out to the public in this concise manner, and I'm not saying concise as in time. This is a very organized, time, hierarchical look at what happened and what's happening even right now. And you know what spurred this for me? See, and I really, the last couple days, I've been in a cloud because once I found this piece of information, and see, what's weird is I had it in my hand, but I never, it's kind of like having a combination to a locker, but you just don't believe there's anything in the locker, so you never look in it. That's what happened. Speaking of lockers, I don't know why. Smoosh that like button. You know, I say that because there's probably people listening that have been smooshed into lockers. I myself would never fit. I'm not sure if I ever smooshed anybody in a locker, but I know I smooshed somebody pretty hard off of a locker once. And yeah, we used to wrestle in the you know, the locker sections, you know what I mean, throw each other. Anyway, smoosh that like, yeah, right there. Oh, like button right there. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, smoosh that like button. Hashtag smoosh cartel. Smoosh gang. Smooshy smoosh that like button. And also turn your notifications on. And I'm not saying that because I'm saying that because there's a lot of shorts that are going to be released and you're not going to know there's new stuff unless you have the notification on. So what spawned all of this and me being in a clown for a couple days and opening the locker that I never opened before and then having to look and reevaluate and realize like, oh my God, I was wrong. I've been wrong for a while. I mean, is it wrong or is it just my investigation with lack of information made public by the person who's publicly targeting the people who, you know, maliciously at this point is, I mean, I've gone by every piece of data I could find, and you're going to understand why this was overlooked when I show it to you. But I had to reconfigure a lot of information and reestablish timelines that it would make sense on what happened. And again, just it's unbelievable that even that I've been wrong. What I have has made the situation 10 times worse. And there's no other way. We got to get into this. I'm going to give you tons of information than this. I'm going to show you things I promise you have never seen. I'm going to read a lot of insight into this, and hopefully I can do it in the shortest amount of time possible. There's going to be no fluff in this. Everything is going to make sense. Everything is going to be important. Okay. So, and yeah, there's things in this beginning part that you've seen before, but I have to establish a timeline, reestablish it, I should say. This is going to be the most comprehensive look into Owen Benjamin and this alleged land scam and the Patreon lawsuit that you've ever seen in your life, including the LLC show that I've promised you guys. Here we go. This is what spawned everything, okay? I just closed it. Hold on, I'll grab it. Let me see here. Yeah, that was the wrong one there. Oh, I have it right here. Hang on a sec. Never mind. I should. Yeah, I got it right here. Okay. Get a new window there. How you guys doing, by the way, while I'm getting this together? You good? You good? Okay. Here we go. Why don't you guys take a look at this here, okay? This is on Reddit 6 days ago. Oh, that's what I was saying too. Again, I've been in a cloud the last couple days after I opened this locker, and I've wondered and I've said this about a bunch of people, but I know Owen's a contrarian. I've established that years ago. But I wondered after this, and after I found what I found, I wonder if he's actually also a master troll. Now, there's a fine line between trolling and manipulation and lying. I guess they're the same. It's just whatever your intent. Like, there are trolls that just troll. They just have fun. It's not political. It's not for whatever. It's literally just for the lulz. But I wonder if Owen took such a crazy backwards. You cannot defend his stance on the Epstein stuff. And that's the last video I did. And after I found what I found, I'm like, well, wait a minute then. So he may have gone into this Epstein insane stance, this crazy cornered, alleged Mossad talking point that people just want the Epstein files because they want to watch CP. No. And it's so bizarre and insane. And who, it's like everybody on Twitter could answer that and be like, oh, you're nuts. And he has to know that. But then I'm like, well, wait a minute. Is he that dumb? Is it a talking point? Who's paying him? Or did he possibly have too many whatevers and, again, can't shut his mouth? And the QuickBook things accidentally fell out of his mouth. So to hurry up and make sure nobody really pays attention to it, he had to go crazy with the Epstein shit. I wondered that, because there's no way. Listen, like I said, it's worse. What I assumed was happening over the last months, year or two. That's not it. It's different, and it's worse than you can imagine. But this is the video that started all of this for Covert Radio. Here we go.
So the most recent deplatforming, and I was just having a chat with one of my friends about it this morning because her theory is that everything we get is what we deserve. And I agree. I agree that it's all about personal accountability, but I was trying to find out how I deserve this and what I should do about it. And it's not even a big deal at all. It's comedic in a lot of ways, but Ballard is under investigation. Glenn Beck cut ties with him and his ties to corruption, BB Batting 1000. Yeah, I knew it. I mean, everyone knew it when it was happening. No, I guess everyone didn't, but yeah, I mean, but no, it's not like I didn't just get kicked off QuickBooks. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I've been deplatformed from QuickBooks. So this is why sometimes I might seem a little stressed about money. I'll just give you a perfect example. So we did the dome build in Missouri, and I had $700 on me. I owed Gardner. Gardner told me the total right after, and it was like 3,000 some. So I give him $700, and I'm like, yes, I'll just transfer it to you. And so
mind you, again, and I'm not going to do this because there's so much information to get to. But, I have to insert this here that you got to keep in mind that these domes or the dome, I don't know how many's out there now. Last year, they charged Beartards or whoever wanted to sign up for it $1,200 a piece. I'll link those videos when I cover this. I'll link them in the description. There's going to be a lot of links in the description. But he tried to, for a workshop, $1,200 a piece to watch Gardner, Piss Boy, Starboy Tripalot, build a dome. Okay. Now, I again, whatever it is, ADHD, ADD, autism, I don't know what it is. My insane desire for truth and honesty and holding people like Owen accountable for what he's done. Now, I will say, you obviously know you can't believe anything he says because there's no proof of it. And the proof he says he's always going to offer was created by him or somebody in the cult. It's not like there's no accounting whatsoever. Nothing. So this money, 703,000, whatever. The reality is there are pictures, photographic proof of men standing around a dome building it. So for all intents and purpose, you would think that each of these guys last year paid their $1,200 to Starboy Tripalot to learn how to build a dome that you can get very similar projects off of Amazon, kits on Temu, Amazon, other places. I went all through this, and I'll link those videos. So now it's $3,000. So again, you cannot, there's nothing that comes out of his mouth that you can believe. Nothing. Because if it's the same dome, didn't all those guys that were building it spend $1,200 each to build it last year? Are you building new ones? You know, again. And at the end of the day, I said this from then, because it's not a campground. What are the domes for? For feed? For the, harsh, Missouri winters, to store hay in them for the cows? Because, again, I've showed this. Beartaria beef clearly is running off of the campground. There's not one camp spot, but there's cow pens and hay and, it's all right in your face. But see, Owen feels so confident that nobody's going to do anything about it that now it's like he's just trolling the people who put money in his pocket. Oh, BB batting 1,000? Yeah, like, okay, so here we go.
He set up an account, and then as soon as I got home, I talked to my bookkeeper, and he's like, yeah, no problem. So we transfer $2,700 to Gardner, and then it doesn't go through. It gets taken out of my account, but it doesn't get to Gardner. And I'm not allowed on QuickBooks anymore. And they won't say why, and I won't get my money back for at least 60 days. But I still paid Gardner again because that's necessary in a high trust community. So if I didn't have that $2,600, I would be completely screwed. Gardner would have been screwed. Everyone's screwed. So this is how it works. How does QuickBooks kick anybody? The guy that I work with.
Let's hear.
It said that he's never seen this ever.
Okay, well, I have, Owen, and you know why? Straight from Intuit, straight from them, because I'm an investigator. This is why one would be banned from their platform using their software. You ready? Hold on. I know this is a big revelation, Owen. Permanent banning from QuickBooks is likely due because of violating the terms of service, and most times is based on an account being red flagged for fraud, illegal activity, suspicious activity, inappropriate content, or breaches of contract, which is the user contract. And then there's another, subsidiary of QuickBooks, which is QuickBooks Payments. It itself is independent, and it has its own separate acceptable use policy. It, if violated, will red flag you for fraud, illegal activity, suspicious activity, and will lead to account termination. You don't get terminated unless you're flagged. There are people that investigate, and once you're banned, and I looked into this on the internet as well, not including just them. There's several cases of violations where they have pursued legal action, and they've also reported to the IRS and whoever else is, they feel needs to investigate what's going on. They contact the authorities. So, there's your answer. A big surprise, Owen, right? You didn't know. I can't imagine. I can't imagine why. I can't imagine, right? Okay.
The QuickBooks doesn't do that, and now they do. And the woman, and he's like,
you know why? Yeah, and you're right about that, Owen. This is some things they really started, I should say, in 2024. And you know why that is, buddy? It's called AI. It's called artificial intelligence. It's called AI model learning. It's called language learning. Imagine a big funnel. And for many years, they were training their AI internal system, and funnel. Everything goes in the big part. And through the bottom comes a very streamlined, learned application of surveillance. And this is true with every AI, just about. Whatever you're training it on. But yeah, that's why 2024, this really started. Because again, nobody can wrap their heads around the amount of users of QuickBooks. Nobody can wrap their minds around the actual physical numbers of people who abuse the LLC system, the corporate system, okay? We're talking in the multi-millions. How many people are you going to hire to do an investigation or to investigate fraudulent activities? You have to really be, somebody has to complain, they have to write emails, they have to call, they have to raise issues. It used to be a physical process. And the amount of the multi-millions of accounts through QuickBooks, nobody could staff them. Where are you going to staff them? What you restaff the entire Empire State Building to control just one company's customer service or investigation team? No. So now they've used AI and they've been training it. And since 2024, there's been a lot of hits. A lot of red flags have come up. And the most serious violations get banned off of this system.
he gets to talk to people that work there at a pretty high level, and they won't say why. I've never had a ding on anything. I've never been late for any payment. I've never done whatever. And it was simply just transferring money. And it's not even that I'm kicked off QuickBooks. It's that they didn't give me back my money. And now, you know, PayPal took over a year. And I don't even know if I got that. YouTube did the same thing. That's why sometimes you'll see someone like me and I'm like, yeah, I just, if you guys want to do it, we have to sign up now. I need it early, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, oh, you and your money. I'm like, okay, well then we can't do a festival, because as far as
I like money again. You know, it's just, again, speaking of the LLCs, like I remember specifically, if I can find the video, I'll link it too. But I really talked a lot about the vast amount of Owen's LLCs. And when I really was looking into the Sam Mitchell ping pong, I own this, but Owen's an officer. I'm the CEO, but then Owen's the CEO of this, and I'm the exec. Blah 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 la 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 shift. And then I noticed when they were breaking up, a lot of that was changing. But prior to that, I think it was the Treasury Department's financial or wait, was it? It might have been the Trade Commission. But either way, I think it was the Treasury Department's FinCET, which is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Group or Network. They put a law through, and it kicked in like January 1st. I want to say of 23 maybe is when I told Owen. It might have been 24, but I said, you're out of compliance. According to the new law, you're out of compliance for not reporting. I think it was FinCEN compliance, actually. And, because I talked about in that show, I said it's widely known that LLCs are used as shell companies. They're used to shield or launder money, mainly from illicit activity, money off the books. It's like there's so many LLCs that hold illegal assets. Why? To avoid taxes. And miraculously, we're going to jump into it, something like that. But they also, guess what? Shield property from seizures. Maybe, how about liens? Maybe that too. But people also launder through LLCs like real estate and real estate transactions, and it appears to be legitimate. But again, that gravy train is about to end. I've heard, I've read, but we'll see. See, that's the problem. And like Trump told Clinton, she's like, oh, he paid like $6 in taxes or whatever. He's like, yeah, and so did you, and so did everybody that's out in your audience here. That's all. Those are all your people. Yeah, you're not going to change it. You had every opportunity to change it. You know why you're not going to change it? Because the people that give you money, they all take the same benefits I do. Sure I do. Sure I take the tax loopholes. Why not? If you want it stopped, change it. when he was debating her that time. But that's why they're careful with LLCs and corporations, because there's a lot of people that use them to do crazy shit. So they, but when the normies start abusing it, it's a little different. They'll just find a new way, and it's going to be through digital currency. And then the normies are fucked with their little LLC scams. You know what I mean? That's what's coming. So anyway, and I apologize for cussing. I said this is going to be friendly, family friendly. It is. I'm going to really, plus I really I just get so fired up. I've been doing a lot of hot takes with this entity on the screen, and, I get fired up, but this is going to be family friendly. I'm going to really try to control it here, but go ahead, Owen.
As money goes, I'm actually super chill and generous.
Yeah.
I'm like in a different category, and I believe it's because of the depopulation.
Yeah, we're going to see how super chill and generous, right, Owen? Watch it.
Agenda. This is my theory, because I don't just use these things as a boohoo situation where, oh, everyone's out to get me.
Of course he does. You guys know that. See, now I'm getting mad, and there's still a minute on this.
My friend goes, because she was saying that, because I was like, how do I, quote unquote, deserve this? Now, granted.
Oh, I don't boo-hoo or cry. Literally 5 seconds later, how do I deserve this? Yeah.
I do in a sense, because I am going against an agenda by a company.
Maybe you're going to reap what you've sown, Owen. So blah, 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 blah. I can't, because now I just can't do it. You got the gist of it. Banned again. It has to be his gamma bookkeeper, right? How the F else would they discover and suddenly ban him after one random transaction? Anyway, welcome aboard Beartarian Accounts Bear. Okay. Permanently banned from QuickBooks. Oh, and again, talk to Intuit's, well, I'm not going to tell you who. Oh, I know high-level people. Do you? Okay. It's surprising they never told you exactly what they told me. Really, the main reason you're removed from their system. Fraud. Illegal activity. Suspicious activity. Right? Again, I'll say this again. I've been wrong, but it's actually worse than I thought it was. We're going to go into a journey, and it's just going to keep unraveling the more and more I talk. We're going to talk about Patreon. We're going to answer a question about what came first, Patreon or Beartaria. And I have the proof, and I'm going to establish a timeline, and it's going to blow your mind. And you're going to see really how the LLCs have worked and how they're still working. And in my opinion, how Permy Bear, Adam Stevens, how he has replaced Sam Mitchell as Owen's wingman. Okay? You know, the entire time I've been doing this recently, after everything's been, the dust is cleared, I should say, after 2020-ish, 1-2, somewhere in there. Well, then Ozark started in 2022, but I kept questioning how Owen made over $1 million in improvements. That's tax records. Over $1 million in improvements on his parcel. And again, that's all publicly disclosed information. While at the same time, he's propositioning the public for $400 each as a timeshare, in essence. And see, that's another thing I really want to establish here. That's really what this is. He never said timeshare campground. And I think Owen knows the stigma surrounding the word timeshare. So, you know, in the way it's shitty, really, with real estate and everything. But it's exactly what he did. It's exactly what the basis of what he solicited the public for. A $400 investment into a campground in exchange for permanent access to the campground a week a year. That is ideally like a timeshare. Right? I mean, put it this way. That's one variation of many with, $400 for permanent access. But let's see here, Owen. What'd you say? And again, this is going to be one of the most thorough, information-packed broadcasts. And there's some things you've heard before. But again, we have a lot of new subs. And I'm just going to play a few things here. You ready? Let's see here. What's that, Owen?
Hi, Mr. Vox Day. I'm just kidding. We're not going to. The $400 plus donation will get you permanent access to the RV, like the campground area. That's not a permanent structure. It's a campground area. What the future is, I buy, whether we fundraise or I can start using money that I make from this next 50 acres, next 20 acres, next 100 acres in different states, put in 5 to 10 bears to start an operation, which would be homesteading, wilderness camp, teaching, what's it called? Campgrounds, places to get married, places to have comedy shows, places to have music festivals, and then just keep going. That dude, we got to do it, or else it's just a slow march to insanity unless people start doing shit. Hang on a second. Is somebody going to be a timeout real quick? Just stop. Everybody has to seek foundation in Christ. No.
Okay, so I want you guys to pay attention here. Look at the light. Can you see that? Let me see what you can see. Okay, yeah, see the light. See these gold curtains, the blue wall, the round table, the finials on the tops of the chairs there. Look at the bookcase here, the white sofa chair. Owen's sitting at his piano, like he did with some of the barn broadcast. And he might still do it, I don't know, but I've seen footage. He's sitting at his piano right now with his laptop on top of the piano. This is going to be established because I'm going to show you more information than you've ever seen. Just remember, gold curtains, blue. This is his house in Washington. And I just have a feeling, and I'll always say this, especially now, knowing what I know or finding what I found. I just have a feeling like he regrets ever leaving here. I really have that feeling because it's all going to go away, Owen. It's all going to go away. And it truly is the seed you have sown. It really, truthfully is. And that's just my opinion, but, But again, it's a timeshare. That's what it was. $400 will get you permanent access. It's a vacation for people. But during the COVID times, and when this was in 2020, it was this trauma-induced, like feverish, no, tyranny, and you can't masks and food and this and that. And we're gonna live off the land and blah 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 and this and that. Okay. The reality is of timeshares, though, normally it's a condominium or hotel unit or something like that. But, they have right to use the property for a specific time each year. This is a campground timeshare, and I've called it that before. In Beartaria, you get 1 week a year. Now, the observation, or at least my observation from the beginning, is that the 10 acres that Owen purchased via Struggle Bear LLC, it was never, ever, ever meant to actually work. And it was never, ever meant to function as a campground. I said it's probably 2 years now. I'd have to find the video. It was a picturesque, rustic Airbnb plan. They wanted to have weddings. They wanted to have a perpetual woodland getaway, and God knows how much money they would charge. In fact, AI Grift Patrol, which I should have this, AI Grift Patrol, and I'll link their channel and this video in the description as well. But they covered a great video that breaks all of this down. Like it's a cult gathering, and dude, that's not it.
And then it started becoming apparent to him that this was illegal. He's raising money. He's going to buy a plot of land. There's no real expectation to the investment. He goes, it's not investment. And then he had to start saying, it's not investment. It's donation. You're donating to me. I will buy this. This will be mine. But we're going to have shooting ranges. We're going to have fishing. And you're all invited. It's going to be great. When he got as much money as I think he knew he was going to get, and he couldn't milk any more out of it, he bought a 10-acre plot of land. It's his. No one else owns this. And the community around it said, yeah, this isn't commercial property. You can't just put cabins and have people stay there. So he had to pull everything back. And there wasn't any camping. There wasn't any fucking shooting range, homeschooling, fishing, teaching of making clothes and farms.
Wait, that's not it, but that's a funny clip. Here it is. This is it here. And speaking of that Kumia clip, which is so funny, I don't ever believe that he even wanted it to work outside of an Airbnb, because I've showed this, that Owen, after all the ordinance issues came up, which the fact wasn't stop what you're doing, it was halt what you're doing until we figure this out, because they didn't have any ordinances on the books for this type of occupancy and what they wanted to do. Oh, instead of Owen waiting and through the legislative process, and they work slow. I've been involved with government. It's always, vote this month, and then, listen, and bring it up next month. It's like month after month. So, but Owen just pulled the permits. He pulled them. So it was just never, ever meant to be finished. But this is the video I wanted to show you guys here.
Section 7. From welcome to threatened. From Airbnb to I'll burn your money, the transformation was complete. The grift was no longer hidden. It was weaponized.
It was a big front sell to get all this money up front. And then the classic bait and switch happened where, hey, this is my property. I told you it was. I told you this is a donation. I'm not saying you're able to come up. If people just show up, you're going to be arrested. Like, you can't just show up.
Any chance my wife and I could renew our vows under God at Ursa Rio someday? Yeah, someday. And we're going to, and with permission. And I mean that with love. Anybody that doesn't understand the stress we're under or what the narratives they're trying to post, anybody that goes there without permission will never be allowed back. And if they're really crazy about it, you will be arrested. It's private property.
You know, again, because they owned Amy and Owen owned an Airbnb in Saranac Lake. Again, though, I'll say it, at best, it's a movie set. Perpetual promotion, perpetual, black hole of continued investment. And I say that because in the timeshare world, there's something that I guarantee you Owen wishes that he would have included. There's something called a maintenance fee, generally, when you buy a timeshare. And it could be monthly, quarterly, yearly. Most of them are yearly. It's a yearly maintenance fee, which, again, I'm sure Owen kicks himself in the ass because, he could have included that and the grift could have gone on and on and on and on until there was one person left. And he would have still taken their money. But, yeah. There's maintenance fee. I also say it was never meant to work because of the sporadic and manic goalpost frenzy. That was clearly documented by Hoax Wars on BitChute. I'll link that too in the description. It was like day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all in a row. And it's just like day 1 is like, hey guys. Hey, me and Ames found this. By the end of it, it's like, you don't have to do this. I'll tell you right now. Just give me money. Like, what's wrong with you? Just get, there was no organization. He was pulling in more money than he could ever imagine every single day. Every day. Boom, boom, boom. There's no accounting, no organization, no ledger, no nothing, but promise after promise. And one time he's like, it was in the AI Grip Patrol video. He's like, even if you give me $10 in an envelope, I'll try to get it. Yeah, I'll try to get it back, right? It was then, again, that was for the big $2 million compound. Again, all of this has been covered ad nauseum by Covert Radio. But one thing that always rings true in this for me is when he said that he raised, and sometimes I don't believe it's real, and I question myself if I actually heard it. And I always replay this video, and I'm surprised every time because, he clearly admits that he raised $200,000 in one day because the original land that they wanted to purchase was like $2 million, 1.5 to 2 million, somewhere in there. And he said he raised 10% in one day. Well, actually, here, I have it. Let me see. Here it is. Let me hit play here.
So my realtor just told me that they already have 4 offers on it and I need 1.7 million in cash in like 2 days. I'm not going to get that because I was so pumped. We got 10% of our goal immediately without even really, just from streaming from piano last night.
10% of our goal, which I could have swore was $2 million. And how much more clear can it be? Even if his realtor, who he said I needed 1.7 in 48 hours. There's the hurry sell. What I think he's actually done at that point is he realized, oh my God, I never thought I'd make this much money. Now I don't want to spend it on this. I'll give them a pile of shit that's worth nothing. Even if he had it. 10% in one day, Owen?
So this is the plan moving forward. The best way to do this is we dream and come up with stuff, but don't dream in a way that's like you get resentful or it didn't come through. Like right now, last night we had this amazing stream about Beartaria, Ursa Mountain. We fundraised 10% of $2 million immediately just from that stream.
How much more clear? Those are his words. And every time my mind is blown. 1 day, $200,000. And then he had the audacity several months after that. There's just no more you get. I mean, we got 400,000. That's all I got. And then I spent it all on concrete. And then, oh yeah. So you raised $200,000 in 1 day. And then you're going to try to tell people that that's it. You know, you only got another 200. We're going on 6 years, and the fundraising, crowdsourcing, and public soliciting off of innocent people has never halted 1 day. It's never stopped. So if he raised $200,000 in 1 day, how much has he raised in going on 6 years? There's no public disclosure. There's no accounting. He changed the conditions of your investment over and over and over again. There's no public record of the public investors. There's no record I've ever seen of any investors. But yet there are records of Owen ostracizing people publicly when they do ask for their money back. I have seen him create a false perception that, nobody, I mean, it's crazy, you get. Nobody even wants their money back. No, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Nobody even wants it back, you get. I mean, he lies to the public. He's lied to the investors. I'm moving my family into a barn, you guys. Just a barn. We're going to sleep on hay. But that's fine because Beartaria, you get. Beartaria, you get. It's in your heart. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with, Aim sleeping on hay. And the bear sleeping in bunk bed. I'm okay. I mean, again, AI Grift Patrol. They compiled this brilliantly. I will link that. I mean, it's just breaking down the actual reality of what the initial investors, and what it would look like logistically, which is another thing that was never meant to work. It is mathematically impossible for, even if it's just 700 people, which is an odd number. Why isn't it 705 or 648? 700 people is the number that has been floated. It's a mathematical impossibility that they would all be able to camp 1 week a year. And AI Grift Patrol breakdown said something like 54 families would have to be on that property every week of the camping season. 54 families at one time across 2 finished cabins or whatever. And no camping spots, just some concrete pads. It was never, ever, ever meant to work. Okay. Now let's not forget. Okay. Let's not forget this either. During this trauma-induced frenzy, okay, Owen was waist deep in a $3.5 million lawsuit with Patreon, which we're going to get into. But again, here we are 6 years later, still 0 camping spots, no camping available whatsoever across 2 states and over 100 acres of land. Still no campground. Again, all of it is predicated on constant, relentless public crowdsourcing, targeting the public for Beartaria campground, just relentless media filled with propaganda and imagery of children and families and just empty promises and lies and manipulation. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Don't you want this? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Nothing but rhetoric, misrepresentation, everything Daddy taught as a professor. That's just a miraculous coincidence, right? That's not hidden is also the fact that Owen built himself a $1.6 million estate, which is that's the tax assessment. $1.6 million. Okay. Again, I never understood how Owen was able to invest over $1 million. That's the record according to the county. Nonstop construction in the worst economy ever, especially for building materials. Wood was through the roof around COVID, okay? Brand new house. Brand new. I've shown pictures of the construction, the big cathedral, what do they call them? Joist or whatever going up. I mean, just brand new multi-level house, no job, just no obvious income, no comedy show, nothing. No campground either. Now, one could assume, and again, that's what I'll say where I was wrong. One, again, with the lack of information, yet publicly targeting the public, maliciously targeting the public, I mean, one could assume that there's a level of fraud happening here. Because how do you put over $1 million into a piece of property if you don't have $1 million? If all the properties that I was able to gather only totaled several $100,000, not $1 million. Well, I found it, right? I found it. But, also too, there was a part of me that was like, well, maybe edgelord fancy boy, through unauthorized was, because he'd brag. Oh my God, I feel comfortable now, you get. I mean, I thought the paywall must really be lining him and, Vox Day's pockets, through unauthorized, because that was the only other thing that made sense for viable income. But we know how that ended too. Owen would constantly talk about his money.
I'm a normal guy, man. That's why I always say I'm not a religious leader. I'm not a political leader. I'm not your dad. It's like the average person couldn't come close to handling the stress I handle. I have a third child on the way. I run an entire farm. I've been deplatformed from all the ways I can make money. Vox Day and myself have a streaming service called unauthorized.tv. And we have thousands and thousands and thousands of members now, right? It's very successful already. Now that I'm just kind of like stabilized with unauthorized and stuff, I don't do anything I don't want to do. It's not about the money, I promise. You guys are paying plenty and we appreciate it and it's awesome. We have enough money coming in to make it work wonderfully. I have some wealth. I own some houses. I own 6 rental properties. Now, 6. That's why this whole stream is completely free, and it's just based on if you want to mail me something to a P.O. box. Like, we never had new clothes, but she'd make our clothes. It's how I want to raise my kids. Except I have some Jew money. If you haven't become a member yet, become a member here. It's literally $3 a month. Not trying to put it down. That's money. I get it, and I appreciate it, and it goes to a good place. Support. Become a member. It's $3. That's less than one of your gay, faggy little coffees that you get every morning on your way to your shit job. Guys, hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions. What am I giving? Lemons and whatever you guys send me to my P.O. box. Yeah, give me some lemons. I deserve that. Not allowed in Hollywood anymore. And it's not my fault. In reality, it's not my fault. It's not victim stuff. That's because I actually took the moral stand that people always want someone in Hollywood to do, right?
That's what you're running up against now in Hollywood. You got away from them, just like Pinocchio did. And by God, they're going to make sure you're punished.
I know.
and they jumped on you, Owen. I think if you had said, you know, the sky is really green, I don't think it was necessarily the transgender. I think
I know it wasn't.
I don't think it was necessarily the transgender.
I know it wasn't. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you guys are the ones saying the 3-year-old children can be transgendered. Like, I got fired for that opinion. It's like, but it's not what you said. It's not that opinion. It's like, it's how you present yourself. I go, that's a class issue, man. That's like British imperialists that would politely take over countries. It's like, that doesn't, how you present yourself more reflects like the people you are around all the time. Like, I hang out with like hard laborers. They hang out with like assholes, you know?
But rich ones.
It's so
Very
insane.
rich.
And they just keep blaming the poor for everything.
And since then, the social media has clamped down. People have backstabbed and turned the knife to make sure that I don't have a name where I can provide for myself. That's how they do it. They don't do it with SWAT teams and stuff, which, you know, people have sent Child Protective Services. This is Charlie and George this morning. And this song was actually playing in the background. George just patiently waits and just, this is how Steven Crowder looks at a dude's ass. Just, that made it weird. Let's start that again without that weird image in our heads. Child Protective Services and the police and animal control to my house. I would gut any of my dogs with a spoon if to help my kid, just if my kid was bummed out. So I open the door, and when George starts lunging at the door, I just knee him in the face. And I take my fingers like this, and I just jab him in the side. I have punched the dog. I punched the dog once in the nose, just pop. I don't even feel bad about it. Listen, I'm trying to tell the dog shit. It doesn't know anything. If George keeps whining, I'll cut his balls off myself. No woman, especially in this day and age, wants a guy that's like, I respect animals. Do you think there's a woman on the planet that right now her ovaries are aching for a man who respects animals? Come on. That's where I have to justify my existence because they want to shut me down morally, right? That happens all the time. My tour dates get canceled.
Hi, my name is Carrie. I'm calling from the Plaza Hotel Casino in downtown Vegas. I did want to let you know that unfortunately the comedian had to cancel his performance. So I'm trying to nail down whether the casino itself removed him or he removed himself for my publication.
So far, all I can say that corporate just informed us that he went ahead and removed himself.
You know, like every day, it's like, I don't know what is going to work and what isn't going to work, what I'll be shut down for no reason. And so that amount of stress, given the fact that this is the same year my parents, their marriage is done, my mother gets fired, and we believe it's because of me, because that someone was trying to hurt me through my own mother. And my mom was one of the last people standing to actually try and give people an education, like something that they could use in their life, even though for a while she's thought that it's not a good idea to go to college, and she's told students that. And she's seen what affirmative action has done, and she's seen the lowering of the intelligence level of a lot of the students, and she still was there sticking it out. So they had to get rid of her because it's like, you know, God forbid there's somebody there that actually wants to do a good job. I had to leave my brother's town because of all this shit. Like, so when you guys think, why doesn't anyone say trans children is child abuse? This is what happens, right? This is what happens. I kicked out of Hollywood, kicked out of, like, I brought pain to some of my family members. You know, I've had to like really innovate and really dig and really work hard, and I have survived, and my family is doing great, and everyone's doing better. My mom's happier than she was, right? It's still crazy, crazy stress.
My mom's happier than she was, right? You don't like my style. Yeah, Owen. Yeah. Family's doing great, and you have an excuse for everything. You lie about everything. You say that your comedy ended at Saranac, at least, or New York, whatever your college gamut you were on for $15 or $100 a pop. It was because of your ex-comedy comedian Hollywood transgender. No. It's because you're a racist, right? And you're in a college, and it's not 1997 anymore, right? It's not 2008, right? Got it. You have to actually be funny and clever now. You can't just sing a song, right? But in your world, it's everybody else's fault. What if I told you guys again, this big gap, because clearly it wasn't unauthorized, like I played in the beginning of that video just there. But at one point, he's making more money than he could probably count with Vox Day and unauthorized. But that's long over. And I thought, oh, okay. I found information now that's going to fill the gap. And it's going to show that Owen Benjamin walked into Idaho with over $1 million in his pocket. The fact that he said he owns 6 rental properties in that video there, if he does, they're long gone. And, again, they weren't under any publicly listed corporations or limited liability corporations. But I'm going to show you every single one that was. And we're going to add it up. And I'm going to show you that he walked into Idaho with over $1 million, like $1.6 million, almost $2 million before he, tax, closing costs, whatever, capital gains tax, all that. And again, when I first found the missing piece of this, I was like, oh my God, I've been wrong this entire time. He did have money to invest into his Ursa Manor. He did have money to build new houses and all this stuff. So there potentially was no fund misappropriation or some sort of, fraudulent activity. I mean, everybody can make their own conclusions because he takes from the public, solicits the public, targets the public, but then he hides everything. So, I mean, if it's good, right, and true, it'd be all public out in the public, right? This is what we're doing, guys. This is the money. Here it is. This is the bank account. This is, this is Beartaria bank account. Which, again, I've asked this question. Where does Beartaria Campgrounds or Beartaria Holdings or Beartaria this or that or Owen Benjamin Inc., where does one end and the other begin? I mean, I'm not talking about your $9 a year Hollywood royalty check, Owen, okay? So, again, but add that into your, your 1.6 million of your fire sale that you had quickly for some reason. Within 6 months, you dump $1.6 million of real estate? You come out, Idaho, you buy a piece of property, $500,000, and then over 5 years, you put over $1 million into it. Okay, let's take a real good look at this, okay? Again, it's all based, Covert Radio is based all of this. And if I was really wrong, which I've been, because I did not have this piece of puzzle, it was all based on public information that I have access to in this public investigation. And then it hit me. Oh my God, it's actually 1,000 times worse now. Because there is still no campground. There is still no campground. Where is Beartaria Campgrounds? Where? You have been soliciting the public for close to 6 years. You walked into Idaho to live in a barn with upwards of $1.5 million in your pocket. and there is still nothing. You put over $1 million into your property that you purchased for $500,000, and there is still no campground. You fundraise hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's no accounting, no proof, no bank account, and there is still no campground. Owen, where is the bear's money? Owen Benjamin Smith. What did you do with the bear's money? Clearly, you have been very successful soliciting money from the public this entire time, right? I mean, even as recent as several months ago, where you say you raised $130,000 in 2 weeks? $130,000 in 2 weeks, right?
Of that, where you're just like, it's all good. Like, okay, the Ozark campground. Why am I not celebrating that I crowdfunded over like a little over $130,000 in 2 weeks for 40 acres? I'm focusing on the taxes and the this, and what if I can't get the, either pay the penalty or get 20 acres or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the taxes, which again, another lie, another misrepresentation, another manipulation, because I have the actual proof and transcription between me and the county assessor and the tax collector. The taxes on that last piece, the top piece, a parcel that they just bought not even a month or two ago, right here, this right here, the 40 acre, or what is it? Yeah, 39.27 acres. They just bought it. The taxes on these 40 acres was not even $5. And Owen has had stream after stream crying and begging for money and saying he can't afford the taxes. He's a liar.
Blah, like, fuck it. Like, just enjoy the thing.
Yeah, the thing.
Worst case scenario, like the absolute worst case scenario, everyone bails, no one cares. Everyone's like, dude, the Trinity bailing. Like, I could sell part of it, pay the taxes. Like, I wouldn't be destroyed. I wouldn't be bankrupt. I wouldn't have, like, all these things that I'm worried about. You know?
Mind you, while he's talking, he just put over $1 million into his property. Okay? He's already purchased about 80 acres that he owns. And it's just not enough. Fancy Boy's insatiable. It's just not enough. More.
I'll have 93 acres and a tax bill. Like, I could even get a loan on it and pay it off over a few years and then whatever. Like, I got to chill out, man. And so it's all good. Like, I got to focus on the wins. And sometimes someone in my position can be spiraling about something, and someone in another situation are like, what are you talking about, man? I'm doing a live stream. I'm getting 10 live viewers.
Yeah, how about the people, the low IQ people that you're robbing, Owen? How about them? Allegedly. How about them, Owen? What are you talking about, internet world?
Raised $130,000 because your listeners want a festival where you...
Huh? A beef company. See, this is starting to make me mad. Again, here he goes. Walks into Idaho, $1.6 million. This is before taxes, after the fire sale of all his properties. He then crowdsources what he claimed was $400,000, which I personally believe is double, if not triple that. Because, again, simply because I should say, $200,000 of that was in one day. $130,000 in 2 weeks across the span of 5 years. 5 years. And that's 15 days he raised almost $400,000. $330,000 in 15 days combined. 2 weeks, which is 14 days to get $130K, and 1 day to get $200K. That's $330,000 in just 15 days out of going on 6 years of constant, never stopping, never letting up, endless fundraising, endless manipulation, endless propaganda. He's never stopped fundraising. He's never stopped. He purchased 10 acres in Idaho, has free labor, endless free resources to build a few concrete pads and a couple walk-in closet-sized structures. Then he immediately starts public manipulation for the Beartaria Ozarks. I want to show you guys this here. Let me take a look at something.
We're announcing the crowd fund for the Beartaria Times, or the Beartarian Ozark campsite. And we've made videos. We're very organized this time. We've learned a tremendous amount from the last experience. And we're going to get...
He can't quit smiling because he's about to redo it again. I'm going to frame this for you exactly how this went. This was October the 18th of 2022. Here's what people don't know about this, okay? The biggest lie here is when he says, oh, we've been working on it. That is not necessarily 100% true. Owen didn't go to the first Beartaria Times Festival Labor Day weekend of 2022, okay? However, he benefited from the festival itself. Sam managed it, possibly Permy Bear too, other people, Anchor Bear, and this one and that one and that one and this one and whatever. What Owen realized, and again, potentially from Sam Mitchell, is how much grift potential there is by launching a brand new land scam, a brand new land grab. This is after he's failed in Idaho, after he pulled the permits in Idaho, long after. He didn't go to the Beartaria Times Festival, which was about a month or so prior to him saying this and launching this LARP. And what people don't know is Sam Mitchell is the one, allegedly, that started dealing with Duncan Smith. Sam is the one that started establishing the whole, we'll get this then that this, and this, that, then we'll do this. Then a year later, this, this parcel, that parcel, this one, that one. Then they immediately contact Adam Camacho to start pumping out propaganda videos, fundraising videos. Right?
Into that very soon. The visual proof, what they are in symbols, what they are all over the place. And then also let's talk about one of the best opportunities I've ever seen. I mean, everything's fallen into place with this Beartaria Ozarks campground in a way that's amazing. $400 USD is like 911 Canadian. Oh, interesting, Chinky Bear. Will you accept fake Monero monies? I don't know what that means. Do you guys want to watch? Want to kick things off with videos of the land and what our plan is? And we have a functioning website. When you donate this time, we get all the info you want to give us so that you stay in the membership area and we don't have to figure that out later. We're wanted in this area. It's a massive piece of land.
Which that's not true either.
There's way more bears already living there. The infrastructure is crushing. It's and as we get through the legal problems we had with Ursa Rio, and it's nonsense, guys. They're saying that I violated zoning issues that I didn't violate, and I'll show you some audio from that. We have it in the video. It's pretty funny.
Which he lies through his teeth in that because he didn't know the audio was being captured. And then when it leaked, now he has to be like, oh, yeah, we wanted it.
Not going to keep building there until that's worked out, but we will have, that will be completed. And if people...
Yeah, 2000 never, right? 2080 never. And then he pulled the permits, but it will be completed. Keep giving me money. I don't understand
why I'm so insistent on that. Just understand that the rhetoric around me doing that campsite was that it's the next Ruby Ridge, all right? And that...
Oh, I wonder why, Owen, with your gun ranges and this and paramilitary and that and fitness training and this and that and like...
area is filled with super rich liberals, and I think there's something dark happening up there.
Huh? Like the new Redoubt.
And so I have to stay on the right side of the law when it comes to Ursa Rio, but Missouri is a whole different ballgame, guys.
I can do whatever I want, even run a beef company off of the land that you keep buying me that I keep saying's for a campground. Yeah, everybody wants you up there, huh, Owen? Yeah, let's take a look at this. Cult of scammers moving into Missouri. This was 3 years ago, October the 5th of 2022, prior to Owen's announcement here, okay? Fellow Missourians, there is a cult group of scammers moving into Missouri. They are called Unbearables, bears for short, and each of the cultists have a bear name. The leader is ex-comedian Owen Benjamin. According to what Benjamin has been saying in recent live streams, he aims to establish outposts around the country. There is one near where he lives in Idaho, and Missouri is the second one. Recently, they are moving into Ava from LA and Kabul from Oregon, and there are others that have moved to the state previously. The property in Kabul is around 180 acres, is being sold off in parcels to the cult. Some members are good people who are just misguided, but the ones who move around for him like this on his every whim, the ones who move around for him like this on his every whim are bad news, as their primary focus is loyalty to Benjamin. Oh, you mean people like this here? Let's see. You mean people like this? They're bad news, right? Yeah, let's see. Bad news. Charlie Minervini. If you hate him, move on, bro. If you're right and he's bad, leave him alone. Printing shit of him is definitely not the move, even if you're right. Build your own thing. It's better instead of focusing on what he's doing. Well, Owen would build nothing unless he dissuaded people from being independent. Unless he manipulated people into enriching him and buying him over 100 acres of land, you idiot fool. I'm suing him. These are the rewards for donations. Suing for what? Losing out on BJs? Typical cult member. Something like that. You going to donate or what? I would literally die for Owen and his family if I had to. I would literally die for Owen and his family. This is the kid right here. Huh? And I believe you, sir. I absolutely believe you. Absolutely. These are the people this lady is talking about. I think it's a lady. It might not be. It might be a dude. They make it all seem very traditional values on the surface with homesteading, sustainability, and God talk. But that's how they hook people. But that is not what Benjamin and his inner circle are really about. Their primary focus is getting money out of people by any means necessary. I accidentally joined this cult a few years ago as they come off as a conservative Christian homesteading group. Benjamin gained many followers by claiming to be a Christian. then began turning his followers away from Christianity towards several other religions, even promoting Islamic child briding. Yeah, Owen, like the age of consent is 12 years old, right? And anyone who speaks out is attacked by Benjamin and his more zealous bears, which is what we're down to. The most radicalized, lowest IQ zealots that surround him. He also has scammed many people out of money and continues to do so for these outpost land grabs. Benjamin is a fake homesteader from Hollywood. And see, I don't know how you know that, but you're 100% right. Because going through all of the corporate properties, Owen is fancy boy with fancies and lollies. He does not, and like you see what he did when he moved to the middle of nowhere. He built a $1.6 million estate with fancies and lollies everywhere. You're 100% right. He's a fake homesteader cashing in on a trend, manipulating people who initially were going through trauma from COVID and tyranny. You're 100% right. They used to just be an e-cult, but not since the Idaho land scam. Owen sent goons to a disabled veterans home in Idaho merely for reporting on a town hall meeting involving Benjamin. I and many others have been keeping track of this community for years because of the trouble they leave in their wake, and it's all documented. I will put info links in the comments, and I have information on the Ava and Kabul locations, including a new Kabul cult-owned business they're using to scam locals, which I may make further posts about if there's interest. Feel free to ask any questions you may have. Thank you, concerned Missourian. Yeah, everybody loves you, right, Owen? He cannot at all tell the truth. I'm only going to play another minute or two of this.
What are we building? Oh, and it's right down the street from Chris Gardner. Chris Gardner just got a farm right there. And, you know, I have dreams of domes, obviously, but let's just kick things off with the video that Adam from Film Grain put together with our help, and everybody has been chipping in on this for a long time. Let's check it out. Here we go. Oh, and I know that this might be a little redundant for some of you because it's my story. But when you're dealing with the amount of trolls, like Gavin McGinnis is trying to start this narrative that, you know, all this stuff, it's important to explain the story up front and just make it very clear. Hello, Taylor Bear. I'm gonna wait a minute, let more people come in. Hello, Josh. Hello, Captain America. Hello, Kyneton's so excited. And so now I, like in the first time we did a crowdfund, it was very run and gun. I had this dream and during a live stream, I'm like trying to raise $2 million to get this epic, like what we're doing in Missouri is what I wanted to do in Idaho, but Idaho got really expensive really fast. So I had to get a smaller piece of land and blah, blah, blah. And we had to build our own structures, and it's a blast. And we recorded all of it and turned it into documentaries. And, you know, it was overall a success minus some of the political backlash I was getting in the area. Thanks to our buddies, the trolls and the NGOs. And, but buildingbeartaria.com is the place where you can watch 2 beautiful documentaries about that whole process. So you know what that was. And then at the Beartaria Times National Festival, we just recorded all that as a documentary. And that's the land we're going to be buying. And we can get so much more land in Missouri for less money. And we already have a full bear construction company down there. Then Mr. Permy Bear is going to be on the stream tomorrow to talk about, you know, the future. And, you know, Gardner's down there, and they don't have
the first class Rico crew, right? Yeah, woo!
zoning restrictions, and it's just, I'll show you the land. It's an exact piece, and it's not on the market. So although I want to light a fire so that we can get this going, it's not like last time. Like last time I was under a tremendous amount of pressure because the price of land in Idaho was going up faster than I could raise it. And so that's one reason why I could come across a little psychotic last time, where I'm like, come on, send in money. Because this time it's not like that.
You sure that's why, Owen? You sure? It wasn't a lawsuit you were losing your ass on? Fucking liar.
And so here is the video. Everybody enjoy.
World's most banned comedian, Owen Benjamin. Our next personality hasn't just been banned from YouTube, but also Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
After being kicked out of Hollywood for having traditional views and being against their social conditioning schemes, I began live streaming for hours a day. My podcast and independent career grew exponentially and started competing with mainstream and agenda-based entertainment. My commentary developed into heavy criticism of many aspects of entertainment and agendas. I evolved into believing that providing solutions and building alternatives would keep me clear from hypocrisy. Get a network, get people together, and start building. You know, people right now seem to be focusing 80% on what everyone's doing to them and 20% on building or doing. Flip that. I did not want to be just another voice in entertainment, blaming other people for all of our problems. I still do comedy hours a day, and I'm supported by some of the world's...
Which is literally all he does, is blame other people for every one of his problems. But go ahead.
...best animators. However, I also committed to providing solutions to some of the world's biggest problems and to help build the world that I want for my children. In 2020, in the midst of fear and lockdowns, I successfully crowdfunded money where I could get private property to have small get-togethers with some of my supporters. I'm going to start looking into bear trail stuff, but the perfect one is
6/30/20. That's a very important date. That's a very important date. We're going to watch this little clip again. I'm done watching this. I can't take it. I can't. That's called propaganda. Again, created by Adam Camacho, who comes from Hollywood. Okay. Listen, all told to date, okay? All of this, you know, these propaganda films and the media and the lies and the manipulation and the constant live streaming and the constant grifting and begging and crying and lying and anything to get money out of your pocket. This ultimately led to the purchase of about, it's about 100 acres in the Ozarks. And I showed you guys that before. That's this right here. And there's been several festivals here, right in this section here, where the cows are shitting and pissing right now. However, to this very day, on July the 22nd, 2025, Owen continues to relentlessly target the public, relentlessly manipulate the public, relentlessly lie, create propaganda as best he can now without a Hollywood-trained, multi-decade experienced Hollywood film producer or film, manager, whatever. I don't know what. Very talented guy. He's lost all of the talent around him. So, he's doing the best he can, but he's still creating propaganda. He continues to pitch a campground that does not exist. It's actually even worse than it is in Idaho, which he talked about in the beginning of that video. Idaho, yeah, whatever. But this, on the other hand, so not only did he make it seem so much better, and yay, guys, we're going to do it here, what he really did in reality is 10 times worse. Because there is virtually nothing at all on the 100 acres. Except what apparently it appears to be Adam Stevens, which is Permy Bear, his Beartaria beef company, has full access and full benefits off of the 100 acres that you bought grazing, beef production. I mean, milking stations. I mean, hay production, right? Right, Permy? Yeah, looky. We know. We played this video. We're going to play it again for the new folks. Here we go. Now, if you guys can see, and I'll say this to the day I die, you see this right here? See my mouse? Let me see if you can see that. Yeah, you see that right there. That is quotations, the child's play structure that I said is not a child's play structure that was built to house hay or pigs or something. And were kids allowed to play on it for media day to expose everybody's kids across all of their propaganda for the upcoming year to line Owen Benjamin and Permy Bears and, a couple other people's pockets? Yeah, probably. Yeah, seems that way. But you see, not even 10 feet away and in a gated area, right, that runs along here, there's cows shitting, pissing, banging, whatever. Your kids are going to be rolling around here that you paid upwards of $800 to go to on land you already bought that literally includes nothing. I'll link this video where I broke the entire grift down right here. I had to put my glasses on for it so I can really take a look at the numbers, you know what I mean? And, this is a great video to take a look at. But they try to charge the Bears $37,000 to have a 3-day picnic. I crunched the numbers with no negotiation or deals. I can have the same thing for $8,000. About $10,000 of that goes back into the pockets of Permy Bear and 2 other people. And it's just a massive grift. All the prices are insanely inflated. They say insurance is $4,500, but it's actually $3,000. It's insane. I'll link this video. But here we go. This is Beartaria Beef. Beartaria Campgrounds, you get?
Maybe I don't see a 16 anywhere else. That's a steer. Boom. He's looking good.
What's going on here, Permy?
There's the milking stations right back here. Or, I don't know, cattle chutes? I don't know.
We just got...
Oh, I'm sorry. Campground bathrooms. That's what they are.
Our temporary, because these panels aren't ours. Thanks, Classic Game Dad Bear. We just...
Oh, so those panels are Classic Game Bear Dad, which I believe is Jeff. There's 3 guys that Owen wants to give $10,000 to. Jeff, Adam, which is that guy talking there.
Shit, like, stop rubbing my hand. It'll never happen to me again. My big banker brain's overtime. And my big banker brain, now I took the place of Sam, but I have a banker brain. Jesus. I hate Jesus. Moshiach.
Yeah. So, Classic Game Boy Dad, is he in the cattle business too? It's either Jeff or Eric. I believe. I was told. I can't confirm that because I don't even know who they are. Adam, Jeff, and Eric are getting close to $10,000 according to Owen's accounting for the festival. For what? It's a big joke, and the joke is on you, Bear.
Got our temporary sorting facility set up. We just picked up a squeeze chute, so safety just went way up, and now we're getting the cows acclimated. So we're going to work them next weekend, castrate the ones that need to be castrated, get a good inventory, and see who's ready to get butchered. I think we've got 2 steers this year that are ready. got a black one over there, I believe, and then you got a brown one that I don't see. Oh no, he's right there. I'm pretty sure he's 16 just heading us off.
This calf is not liking the plastic he's standing in.
Yep, there he is. So he's ready. He's got a full brisket. He's got his happy lines, and he's got a fat cap a little bit on either side of his tail. He could go a little bit longer, but we need him.
So right there, center frame, not the big guy. That guy's going to be who we're eating at the festival this year.
Those happy lines are the lines going down his neck and his side with the lines. There we go. I wish we could get a good look at this black one over here, but he's just not interested in coming in.
We have a little calf coming to say hi.
Hello, buddy. You're gonna make me even more money.
It's literally turning my gut. There's a question out there, okay? And I'm going to switch gears here. There's a question out there, you know, similar to which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Well, what came first, the Patreon lawsuit or Beartaria campground grift, alleged grift? Well, there's still no campground. So I think 6 years now, I guess I'm safe to say it's a grift, right? I mean, there's no campground. So which came first, the Patreon lawsuit or the Beartaria campground grift? Which in my mind would potentially be done to offset Owen losing his ass because Patreon did not crumble to his immoral, his unethical, his little lawfare loophole attempted extortion of Patreon for $3.5 million. Which I want to say something to you bears that are listening. You know, friends or foes and friends and foes, okay? You know, speaking of lawsuits, let me mention something about Adam Camacho. In my honest opinion, from what I know, Adam Camacho was never a bear. In my opinion, he was bear adjacent. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm saying my opinion from what I've seen. He was never a bear. He was a bear adjacent. And he was personally absorbed into the cult. And I think what he got out of it was information that he believed to be valuable. Homesteading, solar, you know, got some chickens or whatever, goats. It's not for everyone, right? And bears listen to me who fell for the same thing that Owen was selling you, you now also realize it's not what you think it is, or how Owen produces media to make you believe it's an infomercial that you fell for and paid for. It's not for everyone, right? Absorb whatever you could, I believe, that Adam does. And a lot of bears did. But Adam, again, was bear adjacent. He was never a grassroots bear, in my opinion. He was hired into the Beartaria world by Sam Mitchell and Owen. Because, I mean, clearly nothing gets done without Owen's okay, right? And they sought Adam out because they knew how valuable he is, how valuable his skill set is, his decades of knowledge, his decades of education, film grain studios, his sizzle reel, his resume, his skills from working in Hollywood on $1 million sets, some of the biggest blockbuster movie sets, to commandeer him into Beartaria to do exactly what Owen and Sam intended him to do. Create propaganda. Create dreamland. Create an infomercial. create Medea, the enchantress. Medea. I imagine it going, hey, Owen, I'm telling you right now, I mean, we're at the festival, this year, I'm Sam Mitchell talking, oh God, you should have seen the money. You should have seen the money sloshing around. Bro, we could make this huge. We could probably pull, I'm telling you, maybe close to $1 million a year just off the festival. We can charge them for this, for that, for that, for this, for this, for that, for that. All we got to do is get the land. That's it. And we'll make them buy that too. More money for me? Yeah, bro, me too. You ever notice, for you bears, who drives brand new vehicles? You ever notice that? Sam always had a brand new vehicle, a brand new truck. Owen always had a brand new truck. Permy Bear always had a brand new truck. Did you ever notice that? And somehow all of their existence was tied to your pocket in one way or another. So they hired Adam Camacho. They sought him out. Hollywood trained, Hollywood working in the union. Because nothing is real until you believe it's real. And once you believe it, you're done. Just like Omega XL and Blue Chew. Once you believe it, you're done. Extends is the beautiful one. Placebo, right? Cha-ching, 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 right? Listen, say what you want about Adam Camacho, okay? But I'm going to tell you something. From my understanding, what's publicly available and what I've seen, the lawsuit he has against Owen Benjamin is, by my understanding, 100% legitimate. There has been real damage. There has been real property in limbo, stolen maybe. There is real media ownership being disputed. There's real labor cost infractions, money owed, or alleged money owed. It's all public. It's all documented. And it's all moving forward. And according to Owen, he, again, just continues slander and defamation. Adam Camacho is not a public figure. And every time recently Owen has talked about it, he's suing me because I called him a Mexican, you get? Oh, is that why? It's not what the court dockets say. It's not what the case review says that's public. You know what Adam Camacho's lawsuit is not? What it is not is a $3.5 million attempted lawfare loophole extortion event that was launched by Owen Benjamin in 2019 against Patreon. I'm going to grab something for you guys here really quickly, and then we're going to read a very important document. Let me log into this here. I got to log into the Superior Court of California. Let me go all the way here. You guys good out there? We good on time? I mean, I told you, this is going to be the most comprehensive look. And yeah, some of the stuff we've gone over is, a lot of you guys have seen it. But again, we have a lot of new people. They don't know. There's actually a lot of bears listening to Covert Radio now. And maybe they don't know. Because Owen has successfully labeled the Reddit and people like Covert Radio as trolls and the gammas. Okay. Yeah. Here, I want to show you guys this right here. see that? Let me make sure we're still rolling here. Okay. Patreon terminates the individual account of Owen Benjamin Smith on October 9th of 2019. Now, we're going to start remembering dates here, making a little mental note of them, or scratch it on a pad. On October 9th, 2019, Patreon terminated the creator account of an individual named Owen Benjamin Smith. Mind you, this is before COVID. This is before the pandemic declaration, which is in March, I believe, of 2020. October, November, December is when people started really getting sick. I specifically remember this. So Owen can't blame, all these people are home watching shit. Now they target. No. No. Racist, bigot. No. And it's clearly outlined. I'm going by what was stated here in the lawsuit. Or the lawsuit. I mean, this is what was stated, Patreon declares why he got terminated. Individual named Owen Benjamin Smith, a self-described comedian who had repeatedly engaged in hate speech, which is in violation of Patreon's community guidelines. For example, over the course of approximately 18 months, Smith made offensive public statements in which he blamed black people for AIDS, mocked Hollywood rape survivors, and targeted Jewish people for scorn on the basis of religion. Soon after the account termination, Smith, through his attorney, Philip Mann, filed a JAMS demand for arbitration against Patreon, asserting claims for breach of contract and tortious interference with alleged contractual relations between Smith and his former patrons on the Patreon platform. Patreon denies and is presently litigating these claims in arbitration. Smith's attorney threatens additional claims in arbitration against Patreon. Smith has an online fan base, and he responded to his termination by appealing to that fan base to file abusive claims against Patreon for the purpose of driving up Patreon's litigation cost and extracting a settlement unrelated to the merits of his claim, which is 100% true. I specifically remember. And Vox Day and the Legion, everybody, Mark Randazza, yeah. Probably Alex Jones, blah, blah, blah. Whoever, who knows? Speculating. Well, not really, because Mark Randazza is actually involved eventually here down the road a little bit. But yeah, there's hours of video of Owen saying what he's going to do to Patreon and Vox Day. We're going to own it. The Bears are going to crush it. It won't exist by the end of the year. We're going to be so rich. Completely malicious. Completely. On November 12th, 2019, after the Smith arbitration was filed, which was November 12th, 2019, Attorney Mann told Patreon's in-house head of legal, Colin Sullivan, that Mann also represented 83 individuals, allegedly Smith's former patrons on the Patreon platform, who intend to file 83 individual demands for arbitration to be administered by JAMS. Concerning the matter of Patreon's interference in their separate contractual relationships with Owen Benjamin Smith, the following day, Mann invited settlement discussions, stating that negotiations between Mann and Patreon would certainly address all the arbitrations we have mentioned, including Smith's and those yet to be filed. On November the 15th of 2019, Mann made a settlement demand. He would proceed with the threatened 83 additional Patreon claims unless Patreon agreed to pay Owen Benjamin $2.2 million and reinstate Smith's Patreon account. Mann made it clear that the payment to Smith would resolve claims asserted by the individual patrons, stating, "Our intention is to address all claims. Smith and the individual patrons in any discussions with you based upon that required relief described above." Patreon rejected the demand. Nobody expected that, did you, Vox? Did you, Owen? Then, December of 2019, Mann made a new demand, informing Patreon that he would file individual claims on behalf of now 100 Patreon users, unless Patreon agreed to pay Smith $3.5 million and reinstate his account. Patreon rejected that demand as well. They move forward. I'm not going to read all this. I'm getting to a point. On January the 6th, 2020, again, remember these dates. January 6, 2020, Mann filed 92 identical demands for JAM's arbitration against Patreon. Of those 92, 65 are defendants here. Attorney Richard Sprague filed 8 more identical demands for JAM's arbitration on behalf of 8 other individuals. Of those 8, 7 are defendants here. Only the 7 defendants represented by Sprague are residents of, I believe it's California. After filing, Mann withdrew 10 of his original 92. All of the defendants are residents of other states. Okay, so now, a true and correct copy of the arbitration demand filed by Paul Michael Ayer, which is identical in all respects to each of the other 71 demands filed by defendants. Here's what is bizarre, okay? This is just so... This is going to prove how dangerous Owen Benjamin is. Again, with people like this, I would literally die for Owen and his family if I had to. Well, does that also mean you would kill for him too? Because now you have 100, then 90 or so, whatever. They could only work it out with 72 total, filing identical demands, statements, the statement of claim in arbitration. This is what they state. These are the cult members. Claimant is a Patreon and respondents. Claimant is a Patreon on respondents' platform under the email address cited above, who supported creators, including comedian Owen Benjamin Smith. On October 9th, 2019, Patreon removed Mr. Smith's creator page and prevented the claimant from providing any further support. Now, this is somebody who is going to court because they can't give Owen more money. This is somebody who's trying to file a claim in court in arbitration because they cannot give Owen Benjamin more money. Do you understand what I just said? That's what the basis of these ridiculous arbitration claims are. I'm totally mad because I can't give Daddy any more money. Totally can't give it to him. I want to give him more money. You understand how dangerous? And who wrote this? Somebody wrote it and handed to them, I believe, right? Because Owen said repeatedly, I'll pay for it all. I'll pay for it all. I'll pay for it all. What nobody really knows, and I think somebody covered Dark Lord Nate, which I'm going to read something here in a moment. There was like these secret talks that the check payable, once they break Patreon at the kneecaps and say, oh no, arbitration, we can't afford it. Not 100 claims. Give me money. Give me $3.5 million. That's much cheaper than what you're going to have to pay for arbitration. Once they tried to kneecap, listen, this is starting to make me mad. Owen repeatedly said, don't worry, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. You guys won't have to pay anything, because at the end of the day, there was negotiations made that Owen alone would be the payee. So what he did is he coerced a bunch of low IQ people, handed them a piece of paper, paid the filing fees, and said, do this. Go to a court of law and say this, so I can get $3.5 million. And you're telling me Owen's not a diluted, demented, soulless piece of shit for doing shit like this? See, this is what's wrong. Like I'm not getting into this. I'm not. Claimant became Mr. Smith's patron in order to provide financial support for Mr. Smith's creation of comedic content. Yeah, so funny, Owen. In removing Mr. Smith's creator page and preventing claimant from continuing to act as Smith's patron, you violated my terms of service, which constitutes its contract with claimant. And the respondent tortuously and intentionally interfered in me giving daddy money in the separate contractual relationship that existed between me and Patreon and daddy. As a creator, I want to give him more money. But see, and through this case, what came up actually is that they changed they changed the terms of service. All of them logged out, logged in. They had it all in court, whatever, okay? And here's what sucks, okay? Arbitration is private, so all we have is what's public. That is the critical part. I want to show you something here that is unbelievably insightful by Dark Nord Late. That hasn't happened in a while. That's a misfire that happens in my head. Normally, it's the first letter and last letter I transpose in a word. Sometimes it's joining words. But this went Dark Nord Late. My brain just does crazy shit automatically. This was a year ago. This was, let's see here, March the 22nd of 2024. Why did Owen sue Patreon for $2.5 million and then up it to $3.5 million? Now, trust me, you guys, this is all going to come back around, okay? It's all coming back around. Everyone knows that Owen tried to sue Patreon using his followers as pawns. Vox Day and Mike Cernovich had convinced Owen that a little-known California law would allow his followers to sue Patreon individually instead of suing as a class action. So how did Owen come up with the lawsuit number? It is a simple cost-benefit analysis, which all crooked lawyers do. I've been through it. It's a simple cost-benefit analysis. I won't say crooked. What I'll say is the game of lawfare. It's a simple cost-benefit analysis that every ambulance chaser and shady lawyer uses. For Patreon, it was the cost of having to settle each individual case versus the benefit of just settling for a lump sum monetary payout to Owen himself. When Owen was kicked off of Patreon, he was pulling in 20 to 30,000 live viewers a day on YouTube. He was making so much money on YouTube that he even admitted he forgot he had a Patreon account. That's how insignificant his Patreon money was. However, numbers matter. While Owen didn't have a large following on Patreon, he did have several thousand Patreon members. If all of his followers filed individual lawsuits, it would have hurt Patreon. It would not have collapsed the company like Owen and Vox claimed it would, but they would not be happy about it. Owen openly bragged that he could get several thousand people to sue Patreon. He even said that it would cost his followers nothing. And I specifically remember that. Owen said, I will cover the cost of everything. Here's where the $2.5 million number comes from. $2.5 million divided by 2,000 followers would be $1,250 per bear. $3.5 million would be $1,750 per bear. That means if Patreon settled out of court, it would only cost them between $1,250 and $1,750, which is $1,750 and $1,250. It would only cost them per lawsuit filing. That is a lot less than it would cost to go to court and fight it. That's what Owen, Vox, and Mike were betting on. Owen never intended on going to arbitration because he was convinced by Vox and Mike that Patreon would just settle. However, Owen couldn't keep his big mouth shut. For months leading up to the lawsuit, Owen openly bragged on YouTube how Patreon would just settle because he was going to make it so costly for them. Unfortunately for Owen, only 72 suckers fell for the scam, well below the 2,000 threshold. 72 followers would have been between 34,000 and 46,000 per lawsuit. Vox had also convinced Owen that his legal legion of evil. I mean, that's no joke. That's really what Vox Day calls him. The legal legion of evil. It's a trademark, too, apparently. They would cover all the legal costs. However, when push came to shove, none of the legal legion of evil attorneys wanted to represent Owen and his bears. Owen had to scramble for any attorney willing to take his case, eventually landing on famed porn lawyer and friend of Mike Cernovich, Mark Randazza. The Christian homesteader Owen and his trad wife Yo Ames had no choice but to use a lawyer that was famous for defending non-homesteaders and non-trad wife pornographers. Who set that up? Was that Alex Jones? Because Mark Randazza he tried to represent me in Sandy Hook, and the judge threw it out because he wasn't licensed in the state. So, and that's a true story. Randazza represented controversial figures all across America. I mean, Alex Jones, Cernovich, Unite the Right, rally organizer. What's his name? Chuck Johnson. So, yeah, that's Randazza. So who gave him that option, or who gave him that info, or who gave him that nudge? It's probably Cernovich. Might have been Alex Jones. Who knows? Armed with the video evidence of what Owen had been planning and the minuscule number of lawsuits, Patreon decided to take all the bears to arbitration. This is where Owen started to freak out. Let me say this again. This is where Owen started to freak out. He had to pay for the bears' legal representation, or else he knew no one would ever trust him again. In Owen's own words, the Patreon lawsuit cost him personally a life-changing amount of money. The question we will never have answered is, was Owen's alleged extortion of Patreon for $2.5 million and then $3.5 million because he wanted to buy the Idaho summer camp? Or was the Idaho summer camp a cover for the fundraising for the Patreon lawsuit? That's when I said that's the real question, right? I personally find it interesting that Owen's initial threat of $2.5 million lawsuit is the exact amount needed to buy the 200-acre summer camp in Idaho, which was $2 million. But yeah, it's plenty of money. Oh, you said, and after talking to the bears in chat, Owen realized he would need operating capital in addition to the $2.5 million. The estimated amount in chat was somewhere around $3.5 million. The exact amount Owen upped his extortion demand to. But there you go, the true story of how Owen came to his $3.5 million demand from Patreon. I will go ahead and show myself out. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Good day. That's Dark Lord Nate. Okay. So, there it is. The question. What came first? Well, we're going to really take a look at this. This is the case right here. I want to show you guys something. This is where we're really going to get into the timeline. You can see right here, there's no entries past February the 25th of 2021. So this was all said and done in just about a year, little over a year. Well, yeah, rough. I don't know, about a year. The case management conference that was scheduled for March the 17th, 2021 is off the calendar. The dismissal is on file, notice sent by court. The Law and Motion Department, defendants Paul Michael Arure, all that, the demur to the first amended complaint is taken off the calendar. Dismissal of entire action of all parties and all causes of action with prejudice on January the 13th of 2021. And I'm reading backwards. Notice re-request for dismissal with prejudice. So that was on the 13th, and then there was a dismissal, apparently. Here we go. Memorandum of cost and disbursement of $30,661 total that I believe went to Randazza. Let's see here. Dismissal of entire action of all parties and causes of action without prejudice. Oh, yeah. Refund reimbursement of $17,000 payable to Randazza Legal. I know there was one for $30,000 for Randazza. There's one for $1,000 for Randazza. But I want to go back here first. This is the very first filing. June the 2nd of 2020. That's the document I just read. Now, I know nothing about legalese or anything like that. If there's anybody that's smart like that, I'll link this, the Superior Court of California, this case in the description, in the links area. But this is where it all started. 6/2 of 2020. That was the document I just read. There's a cost here of $450, which I'll assume is the filing fee. We're going to go backwards. Look at the dates here, okay? This is what's important. Notice to plaintiff, and you can view all these documents. Notice of motion and application for order to show cause. 6/2, 6/2, 6/4, 6/4. Summons issued to plaintiff. Patreon Inc. Okay. 60, 30, 60. Here's another fee of $1,060. Application for approval of complex litigation designation. Okay. Filed by the plaintiff. So that was 6/8 of 2020. Added to the calendar for order to show cause, preliminary injunction. All right. We're going to go back. Here we go. Now we're at 6/29. You see there's a payment here of $45,800. Notice of appearance of counsel. And this is this here where Randazza shows up. 6/29/2020, okay? Take notice that attorney Mark Randazza and Alex Shepard of Randazza Legal Group, members of the State Bar of California, admitted practice before this court, hereby enter their appearance in the above captioned matter as counsel for the defendants listed below. For clarification, Randazza Legal Group has been retained by all defendants in this action except for those listed here. John Cunningham, David Garrick, a bunch of people here. Jeremiah King, Plaxton, Vogel. Okay. And There's I guess all 72. So this is when it really got real. This is when it's official. We're going to arbitration, and it's about to cost Owen a lot of money because he's got to pay for it. Now, again, arbitration's private. It's a private thing. You can go through all of this. I mean, this went on and on, but you see what happened here. There was a lot of motions and clarifications and all this stuff. It got really real on 6/29. That's when it was official. And there's a payment here of $45,800. Not including there's $1,300 there. And look how much has gone on 6/30. Law and Motion Department 302, as of the hearing, plaintiff Patrian application or order to show cause, a preliminary injunction, 6/30. Joinder, proof of service, 7/2, proof of personal service, proof of service. So again, and it was treated individually. You know what I mean? We'll go back a page. Proof of personal services. So you see all of the action that's been posted day after day. This was all filed on 7/2 here. Okay, 7/2. I believe this is all 72 proof of personal service served. And the attached document list, I believe, is the proof that they've been legally served. So everything's in motion. This is July the 2nd. It got very real on June the 29th. We're already at July the 2nd. Proof everybody's been served. So Owen has gotten official word from all the bears. We just got served. Patreon's suing us. Patreon's taking us. We're going to arbitration. Get your checkbook out, Daddy. Daddy, get your checkbook out. You said to do this, so we did it. So here we go. At that moment, Owen Benjamin, I believe, shit his pants. Okay? Like Dark Lord Nate said, Owen was quoted as saying, this cost him a life-changing amount of money. And again, it got really real on June the 29th. That's when it was officially going to court. That's when officially everybody was starting to get served. And the proof came back into the court 2 days later. Do you think it has any timeline coincidence with this right here? Pay attention to the date. You ready?
And if there are actually people that feel robbed that they donated, which I don't believe exist, they have no problem taking me to small claims court. And I don't think those people even exist. I think it's all bullshit. And they know that there's legal recourses where if you feel that you were betrayed by me, there's legal recourses, and I encourage you to do that.
Ursa Rio, the campground that couldn't, exposing Owen Benjamin's $1 million bear lie. Owen Benjamin promised his fans, affectionately called bears, a dream.
Guys, I wasn't going to start looking into bear trail stuff, but the perfect one is for sale.
June 30th, 2020. The same day, the day after actually, that everything was officially going forward in the lawsuit. Right? Do you think this is a coincidence? And this $45,000 payment, whoever made it, I don't, most of this is private. This is what's public. But Owen has stated a life-changing amount of money. He now knows it's real. It's June the 30th. Everything has been in motion for a few, days now. June the 29th, it got legitimately ready to go. It launched. And within days, everybody was served. Everything was moving forward. We're going. Like I said, right here, there was, where's it at? What date was that? The $45,000 payment. June the 29th. $45,800. Notice of appearance of counsel. Randazza's on board. It's official. We're going. June the 29th, 2020. The very next day, Owen's eyes are red, bags, really hasn't slept, looks disheveled. Hey, you guys, you know what I'm thinking you got? Really? June the 30th.
And the Patreon lawsuit is so absurd, I don't want it to hold me up anymore.
In the beginning, Owen didn't just want a few donors. He wanted 5,000 people to each give $400. That would have raised $2 million.
There is a compound, 50,000 square feet, 20, 30 separate buildings, full functional wilderness camp, North Idaho, $1.5 million, 210 or 211 acres. So I was thinking, just throwing this out there, let me know what you guys think. Do you think we could raise the money for that? If 5,000 people chipped in $400 and in return they got 2 weeks there, any 2-week vacation they want, would that be possible?
He called it a community, a sanctuary, a retreat.
$400 is 1 day pay for me. I mean, yes, guys, that's what I'm talking about. Think about what you can get back for that. We can set up a place where we teach.
So now he knows it's going to work. And and you can watch this on AI Grift Patrol. But I just wanted to show you. And he even says here, oh, the Patreon lawsuit, I don't even. Anyway, you guys, he already knows he's fucked. He already knows. He already knows he's going to hemorrhage a lot of money. That's not all. So, again, let me mention QuickBooks again. Owen, banned, right? And again, from Intuit. Fraud, illegal activity, most causable reason to literally get banned off the entire platform. Shell companies, shields, money laundering, right? It's all illicit activity. Listen, at the end of the day, okay? It's absolutely clear and it's known. If you want to do something crazy with money, if you want to do something nefarious with money, what do? You do it through an anonymous company. You do it through an LLC. But here's the key takeaway that I want. We're going to shift gears again. The key takeaway is an LLC can shield a property from seizure. An LLC can shield a property from what? A lien? Or possibly shield your property from what? Losing your ass in a sham lawsuit against Patreon? Oh, okay, so here we go. Start crawling. Get your fingernails dirty because we're going to go down the rabbit hole. And answer the question, what came first, the Patreon lawsuit or Beartaria? You can see he's just legally been handed his ass. The grift didn't work. The sham didn't work. The extortion didn't work. Now they're going to court. And he, again, I'll say it for the third, fourth, fifth time, the amount of money was life-changing for him. At this moment, right now, in this house in Washington, pay attention to the gold curtains, the blue wall, okay? He's sitting at his piano with the laptop on the piano. Look at the bookshelf and the not a dome. It's, listen, life-changing amounts of money. Owen went into full-blown panic. I'm going to tell you something. Again, I truly believe Owen Benjamin regrets ever starting Beartaria. He regrets ever leaving this house right here in Washington State. He regrets ever launching this bullshit, frivolous, malicious, ill-intended lawsuit, this extortion against Patreon because of fucking greed. Again, fancy boy don't have enough. Fancy boy's sitting in a almost $1 million house right here, and it's not enough. He has another $800,000 in property. Not enough. He wants more. He wants to extort Patreon for $3.5 million, and it blew up in his face, so now you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. And we're at 6 years, and people are still paying for it. Low IQ people that need our help to wake up. There is no campground. This lawsuit forever changed his life. It changed the entire trajectory of his existence. He was well off. In this video right here, Owen Benjamin was well off. And in a panic, he sold literally everything he owned and ran to Idaho. And again, was this full-blown panic before the liens were potentially levied? Let me say this before I go any further or show you anything. This is all public information. Everything I'm about to show you is public documents. The properties I'm going to show you and go over are all owned and or headquartered by corporations or limited liability corporations. They are not private. They are not private residences. I'm not saying somebody doesn't live there, but what I'm telling you is it's under the shell of an LLC. They are not private entities. They are not sole proprietorships. They are not privately owned. But out of respect, I have still redacted some information out of respect, out of things we're going to see here. I want to show you this first. We're going to go down a trajectory line. My account with open corporations, okay, or open corporates. This is the LLC portion, and it's all going to be right here in your face. You have it now forever. Owen Benjamin, Inc. This is his oldest company, Owen Benjamin Incorporated, which is a stock corporation, was established, incorporated on October the 18th of 2007, almost 18 years ago. Owen Smith is the agent, the chief executive officer. He's the secretary. Oh, that's my favorite job. He's the chief financial officer and the director. And he's out of compliance too. There's no filings here. Oh my goodness. Oh, we got more. We're out of compliance, Owen. You're a few years behind on your compliance. It's active. You see that? Active. So this is his oldest company, and he still uses it to this day. See, again, with AI learning and what happened with QuickBooks, AI doesn't forget, Owen. AI knows everything I know, Owen, because I'm looking at it. It sources public information too. So when you have this company linked to this branch, linked to this LLC, linked to this entity, linked to this corporation that's the executive of this but not of this, then you have a facilitating company linked over here to this, but money's going from here over to here, back to here, property's running through here, deeds are established under this one, but then money's moving from here to here to here. Okay, anybody repeat what I just said? You know what will repeat exactly what I just said verbatim? The transcript of this video. Just like AI does, Owen, right? It's kept track of everything, and you've been clearly caught doing something. And it's so severe, you were completely removed. You weren't warned. You weren't suspended. You were completely removed. it's not just companies. It's also registered trademarks. He owns several of those too. But what I'm going to show you right here is what I've missed all along. And here's what's crazy, okay? I've always in my gut had like this feeling, I got to find it. I got to find whatever, something's missing. I know it's missing. I just never knew what it was. And the reason, see, what's crazy is, like I said before, I had this in my hand already. I just never opened it. I never opened it. The reason being is because I never included any corporations or LLCs that Owen owned that were not active. And I missed the biggest Easter egg that was right in front of me this entire time. But I never looked because I didn't want to include inactive corporations or limited liability corporations. Companies essentially that were shut down, that cannot be used essentially. So I never paid attention to it. I never looked for all of his inactive corporations until recently, until the QuickBook deplatforming. I said, something's wrong. I'm missing something. So I went back and combed every one I had. And I had Ursa Manor LLC. I had it. I just never went and looked into it. I left it closed because it was inactive. And it is still inactive. But I found it. I found the missing link. And this is it right here. Ursa Manor LLC. This company only lived a little over a year. It was established in February of 2020. Now, again, here we go. We're in 2020. Owen sold everything he owned and or start shoving them into corporations. I believe as a hedge against what was happening with Patreon. Just an opinion. Because why all of a sudden do you sell every piece of property you own and then put all the money into one, or you actually start spreading it out? But you essentially put it into one basket. And he closed it right after he sold his house. So what he did is this house right here that he's sitting in Washington, which is right now worth between $800,000 and $1 million. The house is beautiful. I'm going to show you some pictures just so you know I'm not lying. Look at the gold curtains, the blue wall. He's sitting at his piano with the laptop on the piano. Look at the bookshelf in the chair. Okay, I'm going to show you that. He opened this corporation, put his house, listen, I'm not alleging anything. I'm just going by what makes sense to me. He only opened this company to sell his house. And why would you do that, Owen? Why? Why do people do? I'm not saying what you've done is illegal. What I'm telling you, though, is with multiple LLCs, a corporation, multiple this and that's, money sloshing everywhere, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're surprised that you're deplatformed off of QuickBooks? You're surprised it finally caught up with you? I'm not saying it's illegal. There's people, I mean, obviously, people shield themselves. There's ways to do it. But another thing that the government really looks at is, are you doing this for tax evasion? You know how expensive it is with capital gains and all kinds of shit and closing costs? You know how expensive it is to sell a house? It's very expensive. This is why I never found it. Because this house right here was owned by this corporation, Ursa Manor LLC. This is the original Ursa Manor. Right here. This is the porch you used to sit on, or back here or whatever, I think. Yo Ames garden, and, you know, he's done videos out here, the fence, him and the Pap build or whatever, Pap Jean, I don't know who it was, John or whatever. This is Ursa Manor, the original. And I really genuinely believe he regrets leaving here ever. This is in a beautiful area. It's close to her parents, rich area, high demographics, plenty of land, nice privacy up around a hill. You know, it's very nice, very nice. Fancy boy. And I'm not going to show you every room, but this house is beautiful. Owen will never stop indulging himself. Greed. This is the corporate-owned Ursa Manor. Here we go. This looks familiar, right? We've seen this. The White Claw streams. There's the fence he built, right? Don't know why you need 4 fucking things of propane, but whatever. I like to sweat it out, you guys. Me and Permia, I'm just going to go in a sweat lodge. It's all right. I'm doing it. You're doing the city. Yeah, there's the fence, whatever. Some of the fence. We've seen it. Just want to show you guys. You know what I mean? I'm not going to show you. This is a corporate-owned property that's been sold. Look familiar? See the light? See the gold curtains, blue wall? This is where he puts his laptop. This is where he sits. Round table, the finials on the chairs. So here's where we're going to show the fire sale, okay? I've redacted some information in this. He listed it in November 20. He listed it on November the 23rd of 2020. He had it sold within a month. Because again, the height of COVID, panic, everybody wants to move out of the cities. So I remember during that time, asking price was never the issue. What you had to deal with was people upping the bid. So you could ask, say, you know, he wanted $743 for the house. That's what he asked for. So that was already probably inflated somewhat because you always ask for more than what you want. This is what was happening in 2020 with people that had money. Oh, I'll give you $775. Oh, really? Okay. Well, Yo Ames, we got an offer for $70.75. Oh, take it. Oh, wait, I just got an email. This person's offering $795. They went at your asking price, and then it was a bidding war between buyers. There was a time you couldn't find houses in the cut during the panic. So he asked for $743.5. He sold it for over $50,000 more than what he was asking for, which was probably already inflated. So 2020, November, fire sale, listed, get rid of it. In June, he's still streaming from this house. 801.50. Okay. Write that down. All righty. All right. So then, we've shown this before, and this company, which was incorporated on September the 8th of 2017, Struggle Bear LLC, has several properties under its umbrella, under its shell. Umbrella, shell, whatever. I think of turtles. I like turtles. I'm not implying anything. Struggle Bear LLC, from my account, owned this, which is the Saranac Lake Airbnb. Beautiful. Small, but nice. Old. Built in the 1940s, but nice. Cozy, I guess. I'm a fan of spiral staircases too, but you do that when you don't have room. This was sold. Let me see here. Take a look. No, that's not it. Is this it? I have it. Yeah, this is it here. So this is the Airbnb listed April of 2020. So again, the Patreon lawsuit started. Remember, he got booted in 2019. In November, they started the extortion attempts. First it was 2.5, then it was 3.5. So this is all after everything's already in motion. Okay? 427, list it. 450. What'd they get? They sold it in December of 2020. They got $390 for it. That's the Airbnb right here. So 800, 400. Then Struggle Bear LLC also owned this property here, which I've covered this before. And I don't know if this was just a flip thing or this is one of my rental properties you get. Little trap house, little bando, whatever. It's in the, who knows, college kids live there, whatever. I don't know. There's a backpack. Obviously, some kids, whatever. Yeah, there's his rental property there, which or it was a flip. Old house built in 1901. Here's what it sold for. Again, listed October 2020. Listed for $150,000, which is $50K above what he bought it for. He sold it. The pending sale started immediately. He finally went through early 2021. He sold it for $120,000, $120,000. So again, sell, October 2020, April 2020, December 2020, 2020. The Patreon lawsuit started in 2019 effectively, okay? Fire sale, panic, dump it all. This is Struggle Bear headquarters here. Now, I'm not going to show a lot of this. I don't know if this is another rental property, if this was his personal residence at the time, don't know. Never been in there. But it appears fancy boy certified if you ask me. Okay. And it's a newer house built in 1972. Newish. Yeah, it's fancy boy certified. But this is the Struggle Bear LLC headquarters right here, listed. And he sold this for, let's see here. We listed for April 2020. April. Sell. He took a loss on it. He took a loss from what he purchased. He sold it for 12% under what he paid for it. And then he took a 15% loss. What does that mean? What, that sounds to me like somebody desperate to sell, right? Desperate to sell. Yeah, give me whatever. Right? He listed it at already 12% under what he paid. And then he actually sold it for 15% under what he actually paid. He lost money on this. It doesn't matter. Sell, sell, sell. Hurry, 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 hurry. The lawsuit's in full swing. Just about. This is right before it really got real. He was building a war chest, possibly. Or he was having a fire sale to get all the property out of his name, get it into other places so that they can't go after it for the lawsuit. Because I'm sure by April, he was already having a feeling, oh shit, this is going. We're going to arbitration. They did not succumb to my threats. Right, Owen? All right, so let's take a look here. What else do we have? So that's it. That's everything there. So just in roughly 6 months, a window, if you go back through and you look at all the dates and everything from 6 months between May, April-ish, April, May through October, Owen Benjamin panic sold over $1.6 million of real estate. Let me say that again. In just roughly 6 months after the Patreon lawsuit was initiated, after he realized, oh shit, I'm not going to extort them. They're going for arbitration. He had a fire sale. And you can see he was so desperate to sell, he took losses. He gained in other places, but he took a loss there. All told, in 6 months, he sold $1.6 million in property at face value. Now, that's not walkaway money. That's, and again, I'm being very generous when I say let's take off 25%. It's more than that, more than likely. But we're just going to say it's 25%. And that, like I said, that's closing costs, transfer fees, all that shit. Maybe commissions if he used a real estate agent, which I know he did in one of them. I think it was the flip. Yeah. He used a real estate agent in the flip. So they got a commission on, that one, the one where it's like the old house where the kids lived, or the backpack on the table, that one. He used a real estate agent. So there's commissions there. There's capital gains tax, whatever, okay? So we'll say that 25% is around $400,000, about $400,387. So Owen Benjamin ran to Idaho with just over $1 million in his pocket, cash. $1.2 million, and that's at 25%, fee, taxes, whatever. Bulk, 1.6550, tax, minus 400, almost 400.5. Kitty money, pocket money, $1.2 million. You understand what I just said? So not only did I not see this before, which would add another $800,000 at face value to his coffers, he walked into Idaho, start building immediately, and June 30th, knowing he's selling all of his property, he's building a war chest of cash, he started soliciting the public. Because he knew that he was about to lose his ass. He just wanted to protect his properties and his investments, in my opinion. So then, almost 5 years ago to this exact date, on July the 24th of 2020, he buys Ursa Manor for $575,000 even. I have that one graphic where I say it's $200,007. That's been the tax assessment. And when I'm fired up, I'll be like, you purchased it for that. It's tax assessed at $200,000. That's what he moved into. But his actual purchase price for that 10-acre parcel in Idaho that he lives on, that's under the LLC, was $575,000. So, guerrilla math, minus that off the $1.2 million he walked into Idaho with, he's right now at $600,000. $626,000 is what he has in his pocket after he bought Ursa Manor in Idaho, the 10-acre parcel. So, now again, this is guerrilla math. He probably actually wound up with less than that after taxes and fees. But let's just say an even $500,000, okay? The cash that he has after fire selling everything. He now lives in a barn with $500,000 in his bank account, while actively fleecing the public for a campground that almost 6 years later still doesn't exist. If you have $500,000, Owen, by selling every piece of property you've ever owned, then reestablishing yourself in Idaho on 10 acres, you have $500,000 left. I still beg to answer, sir. How did you invest $1 million into that property? Because you only had $500,000. Math doesn't lie, Owen, right? Right here. Listed for sale, March 2020. They wanted $600,000. June 1st, they took it down, $25,000. July, they bought it, pending, $575,000. So it went through. Listed for sale, pending sale, listing removed. July of 2020, they buy Ursa Manor in Idaho for $575,000. And then in 5 years, nonstop construction. Right here's where they bought it. 2020. Tax $442. The estimated value of the barn dominium and 10 acres was $207,000. That was what they were being taxed at. Even though he just bought it for $575,000, the value was taxed at $207,000. And look, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars invested. Taking the total at the tax assessment of $1.6 million. They've estimated over $1 million was invested, not on Zillow. This is Zillow. I have I think it's Redfin that I have where they show the money invested into the property. It's the graphic I always show. Over $1 million invested to take your properties that was taxed at $207,000 to over $1.5 million. And yet, after everything's said and done, you had about $500,000 to play with in your account. That's just going, you might have $5 million, Owen. I don't know. This is just going by what I publicly have available, right? Here's where it gets better. It's going to get better. You ready? Okay, let's take a look here. So, Struggle Bear, still active, still trugging along 8 years later, all right? Well, here we go. Then comes Beartaria Times LLC. And they are right on schedule with their annual reports. Okay, good. In compliance. And this is an important director, officer, Green Shade. See what I mean? It's like, so who's Green Shade Services? Let's see. Beartaria Times, LLC. The name is Green Shade. They're from Boners Ferry. But what do they do? Who owns it? Other officers, it's a Northwest Registry agent. I mean, it's just, who is who? Who is what? Good, right, and true, right? Like Green Shade That's pretty fucking nice. That's a nice, in an area, listen. Owen Benjamin Inc. is a member. So not Owen Benjamin, but his corporation is a member of Beartaria Times. See what I mean about the layers and layers and layers and layers of insulation? And you wonder again why you're being red flagged for shit. I mean, I've run businesses for almost 30 years now. And I mean, you know, you have to hire a wizard to fucking do this type of magic. You just didn't know the right people. Well, no, I want to use QuickBooks, clown. I don't want to look over my back. I don't want to worry who I fucked over that's coming to take every fucking thing I own. Well, you tried to do it to Patreon, Owen, right? There's no mercy. What mercy? Oh, you're the victim, right? You're the victim because you tried to cripple Vox Day's words that the Bears will own Patreon? For what? For the millions of creators out there who have legitimate communities who people want to help support, Covert Radio being one of them? Oh, but because you can't go on and scream N-words and all the other shit, you're going to cripple the company, take them down, and try to extort them for $3.5 million? And that's not coming back to you now, right? You're fancy elitist boy, right? You're the victim. Yeah. Unbearables Media, LLC, again, Green Shade Services. Owen Benjamin Inc. is a member, even though it's his. It's his. Oh, unless what? Who's Beartaria Times Event Management? Here we go. Registered Agent LLC. Now, here we go with White Robe Capital. Oh, that's a cool name. White Robe Capital is the director and officers of Beartaria Times. And they're from Harrisonville, Missouri. That's the address. But who's White Robe Capital? What bear owns that? Let's see here. Let's see. This is a branch of it here. It's, again, Media Consolidated, LLC. Now, who's this? See what I mean? Just hide, trail, breadcrumb. Who's this? Yeah. Okay. You see what I mean? Beartaria Holdings, which is the company that owns all of the fucking properties. Ursa Manor, Ursa Minor, and Missouri properties. And there's a branch in Missouri. So there's Beartaria Holdings LLC, that's a limited liability company in the jurisdiction of Missouri. And then there's Beartaria Holdings LLC, which the branch is the one in Idaho. Even though Ursa Minor was created first in Idaho, and then a year or two later but now it's, the original is the branch for some reason now. And here's Owen Smith as governor and member. Green Shade Services is again listed, whoever that is. Barry Wilson here's director or organizer under Beartaria Holdings LLC. Here's Beartaria Ozark Campgrounds. Barry Wilson again, Registered Agents Inc. again, whoever that is. Created September of 2022, which is right before the grift started with this is right after the Labor Day picnic. Before that video I showed you where he's like, hey guys, hey you guys, they already started setting it up. And then here's a branch of Beartaria Ozark Campground, which is in Idaho. So why is Beartaria Ozark Campground? And then again, here's the directors. Beartaria Holdings is the member and governor of Beartaria Ozarks. Green Shade LLC is an agent. But then if you go to Beartaria Holdings, the director and officer is Green Shade Services, and Owen Smith is the governor and member. Okay. We'll figure it out, huh? Yeah. Not to mention all of the Beartaria trademarks, which is Beartaria, established April 18th of 2023. Beartarian, the Beartaria Times. Okay? That was all established around the same exact time. Actually, I think the same day. So, we're not done. I just want to establish how many now LLCs and corporations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7. How many trademarks? 1, 2, 3. All within a year or two. Money sloshing everywhere. And Owen wonders why he was removed from QuickBooks. I don't know. But people at the highest levels can't answer you? Oh. Because my information says fraud, illegal activities, stuff like that. That's why you would get removed. Here's what you've never seen before, okay? Now, this is, listen, I've said multiple times, nobody knows what Owen paid for Ursa Minor, the 10 acres that supposedly Beartaria campgrounds. This is the very first, I raised $200,000 in one day, you get. Okay. Nobody knows what he paid for it. We do know he had roughly $500,000 after buying his 10-acre parcel and putting it under the same LLC that the Trap House movie set, Fairy Tale Potential B&B, is set up 3 hours away, up north. 6 years now, still not a camping spot. Here's what I want to show you. This is the county map, okay? I've redacted some information here. Can you guys see this? Let me see. Yeah, you can. Can you see that? Let's see. See that? Struggle Bear LLC. Now, that's how, yeah, that's actually, I forgot that. Yeah, Struggle Bear. So not only is Struggle Bear fire selling all the property in New York, then it buys raw land. Now, Owen has said he's paid anywhere from $170,000 to $250,000 for this piece of property, right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And I've personally said, for my investigation, Owen paid $80,000 for this piece of property. Oh, no, you're mistaken, Covert Radio. It was $179,000. Yeah, for 10 acres of a lot of it's unusable. Slope land. There's no fish in that river. Sam caught one fish one time. Whatever. And then, you have some sort of access road or whatever. And imagine this place is under feet of snow for 6 months a year and the ground's frozen. So how valuable is 10 acres up there? About 80 grand feels about right to me. And people have fought me all along about this, and I said no. That's what the tax records show. So I'm going by what the tax records show, which again makes all of this 1,000 times worse. This is the parcel. And you can see, owned by Struggle Bear LLC. All right. Here's another look at it, except without the satellite imagery. You see what this says here? This is the parcel number. Can you guys see that? Okay. Who's the owner? Struggle Bear LLC. What is the address? Okay. Now, people have thought that this address is something like 775 Earl Lane Road. And yes, there is a parcel there that is also 10 acres that was sold around the same time for $179,000. However, I'm going by county tax records. Now, I'm not saying there's some weird problem, maybe. That's why I've always said it's either 80,000 or 180,000. Because Owen there's no public, he'll take all the public money, but there's no public accountability. Struggle Bear LLC, 845 Earl Lane Road. Okay. 10 acres. Here's another image. Now, see this address down here? Can you guys see that? Yeah. Right here. 845 Earl Lane Road. This is Zillow. Look at the property lines. Exact same as the counties. Okay? $845 Earl Lane Road. Here we go. Look at this. 2021. The taxes were $588. See that? The total assessment was $79,000. It was taxed at $79,000 because there's nothing on it. But then through several years, when you're building concrete slabs and bomb shelters and fairy tale cabins, and you're getting roads and logging and all kinds of shit, looks like it's been reassessed for $210,000 is what it's now worth. However, this is around what he paid for it in 2020, 2021, $80,000. Again, which makes this 1,000 times worse. If Owen already had $500,000 after he bought his property, he raised $200,000 in one day from grifting for the big campground. It's near here. At best, he threw $80,000 at a project that's never going to exist, a movie set. What don't you understand? What does this say? 845 Earl Lane Road. That is what the tax records are through the county. This is it without the demarcated property lines. And just so you know, there's no records here through Zillow, but they do have the assessment for 2024, which miraculously is the exact same as all the other reporters. And they also have the actual property outline. Six years, no campground. Walks into Idaho, 1.2 million, roughly, after taxes and everything. Buys Ursa Manor, $575,000. Leaves him with roughly $600,000. Really, it's $626,000. And with his magic with tax holes and fucking LLCs and putting an $800,000 property in an LLC for 6 months and whatever. Okay, whatever. So maybe he paid hardly anything in taxes. Either way, I'm giving it to you. I'll give you $100,000, Owen. $500,000 cash in your pocket. Immediately raise another $200,000. Immediately tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars over the next week. Not including gold, silver, this, that. So you were probably really back up close to $1 million immediately. And all you bought was an $80,000 piece of property? that still doesn't explain how you were able to invest over $1 million in improvements in your own property, right? Just want to show you guys one last thing here. Permy Bear, in my opinion, has taken the place of Sam. Because look at this. April 8th of this year, several months ago, he creates an LLC, Adam Stevens, Beartaria Events LLC. So, not only does he own Beartaria Beef LLC, Adam Stevens, the organizer and agent, he does that in February of 2023. He then owns Beartaria Events LLC, started a few months ago, in prep for the $10,000 payday that him, Game Board Bear, and whoever else. I mean, can you understand the levels that's happening here? Good, right, and true? Fuck you. This is all going to get exposed. And you know what? Legal, not legal, illegal, whatever. Clearly, something is going on that you've been removed from QuickBooks. You think it's going to stop there? Like you're getting $10,000, you're trying to gouge poor innocent people so the guy can slosh it through another LLC who's also making money and using that land that's supposed to be a campground for a beef company? There's not even a tent in the Ozarks. And you know what, Owen? I've come to the realization there's no defaming you. You're such a charlatan piece of shit, grifting, lying, manipulating, racist, hateful bigot that's proven and documented that it's impossible to defame you. It's impossible. And what have I shown that's not in black and white? You can't answer that, can you? I'll leave you guys with this.
Do like silver and gold and shit?
I thought about wanting, like, could you go in and do that? I don't know.
Not that I'm just saying, like, are they like, hey, here you got a little silver, you got to pay tax on that?
No, I don't know what they draw the line at. Whether it's like, because I don't think that it's just physical assets, right? I think it's stuff having to do with the possibility of like production.
Yeah, like commerce.
Yeah, that's because like they're not going to tax you on like your desk, right? But if you owned an office, you probably have to pay like office equipment tax, right? So, but if you're an educational organization or a church or a government organization, you don't have to pay personal property taxes. So, you know, I'm putting my banker brain to that. Like, I'm clearly not going to start a church. That's just a nightmare. But I'm like,
yeah, people are telling me that. They're like, dude, you're the perfect guy to do the church thing. I'm like, but in metaphysical reality, that's a claim I don't want a responsibility for.
Exactly.
I'm like, how do I do something where I'm not claiming like, because my claims have to be real. I just have to know, I don't want to.
Says the guy, right? Already he failed at a $3.5 million extortion attempt. But he just can't stop lying. And now you have this Charlotte. See, I'm going to.
Oh, they just my big banker brain.
Why in the game, you know, but because you don't have to. Hang on, like Boer Bear just said, I know a guy that sold his business in gold to avoid taxes. Yeah, there's some crazy shit with.
We need to look into that a little more.
Tomorrow at 10, I'm going to be talking about peanuts. Wag the dog.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
I'm going to talk about the movie Wag the Dog. You guys make the fucking money. How are they always the most insane about insurance and taxes? The Jews. It's insane. It's your game.
That is, they got to make sure everybody's playing it right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Check the link. Check the links in the description. This is the LLC show, guys. This is what I've been promising you for a long time. And that's actually not all of them, but again, I don't include inactive ones. But again, I'm glad I did, because I found a critical piece which actually does two things. Corrects me and proves that Owen Benjamin is actually 1,000 times worse than anybody expected. It really is. The situation is 1,000 times worse than what we've all believed up until this point. If you want to support this type of media, become a Covert Radio Tribunal member. The link's in the description. If you want to support a real lawsuit and help bring Owen Benjamin to justice, look into Adam Camacho's Give, Send, Go. That'll be linked in the description. AI Grip Patrol will be linked, and there'll be other links that we covered in this video. This is Covert Radio. This is brutally honest, fearlessly unapologetic talk radio. You guys take care. Have a good day.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Sometimes it does get a little burdensome to cross have to bear that for whatever reason I understand how to rule the world. Like social engineering and psyops and how people are manipulatable and what rulers actually have to go through and how they do it.
I see as clear as day.
Most people don't. You know, you're given that for a reason. You know, the good news is there's got to be a reason I know this stuff. And I think it's because, you know, God granted me this insight. Social engineering is my aptitude doesn't begin to explain it. And meth being nice, I know it might sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm not. This is literally a burdensome gift. Do you know how few people understand how to rule the entire world through spells?
Through spells.